Today I'm going to talk about the progressive tenses. This might be a review from Spanish too, but it's always good to review. The present progressive is what we're going to talk about first, and we use the present progressive to describe actions that are going on right now. We use it a lot in English when we're speaking in conversation. Also, it's the same in Spanish. It is formed by using estar with the present participle of the verb, which is formed by removing AR, ER, and IR and adding ando or yendo. We add ando for AR verbs, and we add yendo for ER and IR verbs. So just a quick review of how to form estar in the present tense, and you all know that estar is the temporary to be. Estar, estoy, estás, está, estamos, and están. I am, you are, he or she is, we are, they are. Some verbs have spelling changes in their participles. When I'm saying present participles, I'm referring to the verb that ends with ando or yendo. So here are some of the most common irregular participles that we use in the present progressive tense. Caer, cayendo, decir, diciendo, dormir, durmiendo, leer, leyendo, mentir, mintiendo, morir, muriendo, pedir, pidiendo, and traer, trayendo. So here are some examples of the present progressive tense. I try to pick some that were irregular. For example, she is telling the truth. Ella está diciendo la verdad. Decir is the participle, and está always goes along with the participle in the present progressive. They are reading a book. Están leyendo un libro. I'm talking to my stepdad. Estoy hablando a mi padrastro. So sometimes when I use the present progressive, sometimes we use it with an object pronoun, like a direct object pronoun. And you can either place it before or after the verb, but most Spanish speakers attach it to the end. So a direct object pronoun, just a really quick review. A lot of times if we want to figure out what the direct object pronoun is in a sentence, we can ask what. Like she is giving it to the teacher. She is giving what? It. Remember in Spanish, the four most common direct object pronouns are lo, la, los, and las. So here's an example. He is giving it to his girlfriend. It is the direct object pronoun, and it's referring to el anillo de compromiso. So, with that in mind, if an el anillo de compromiso is the direct object pronoun and it's masculine and singular, you have to think, which direct object pronoun would I use? Lo, la, los, or las? In this instance, it's lo. So in Spanish, it would be está dándolo a su novio. She is giving it to her novio. And the participle, right here is the participle. Right here is the direct object pronoun. It's attached to the participle right here. I can put it before, but like I said, most Spanish speakers attach it to the participle. So what I want you to do right now, and I'm going to ask for this when you come to class to see that you have watched the video, I want you to write 2 sentences using the present progressive tense. Use 2 vocabulary words from the chapter 4 over la familia, and one of the sentences should have a direct object pronoun attached. So let me just give you some examples orally. I could say something like, she is eating the food. Ella está comiendo la comida. If I wanted to write the sentence using a direct object pronoun attached, I could say she is eating it. Maybe it is referring to the hamburguesa. Hamburguesa is a feminine singular noun. So you have to think about what direct object pronoun would I replace for la hamburguesa? Lo, la, los, or las. In this situation, it's la. So if I wanted to say she is eating it, because I don't want to repeat hamburguesa, I would say ella está comiéndola. So pause the video, take a few minutes, and write these sentences down. So sometimes you can also use the present progressive with andar, which usually means to walk, and seguir, to follow. So instead of using estar, we're replacing estar with andar and seguir. If I use andar with the present participle, it kind of gives the impression that someone's going around doing something continuously. It has a slightly negative connotation, so it's not something very positive. Just a quick review of andar and seguir in the present tense. Just like we put the verb estar in the present tense, we also do that with andar and seguir. So andar, ando, andas, anda, andamos, andan. It's just present tense AR ending, o, as, a, amos, an. And seguir is an irregular verb, so it's important that you basically just memorize this. It's the following: sigo, sigue, sigue, seguimos, and siguen. So, here's some examples of andar and seguir with the present progressive. She continues, not talking to her brother-in-law. Ella sigue no hablando a su cuñado. Or if I want to use andar, I could say something like, él anda separándose sus miembros de la familia con chisme. He's going around separating his family members with his gossip. It's a negative connotation. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to pause the video and I want you to write 2 sentences using andar and seguir with the present participle. So instead of using estar, you're using andar and seguir. I will also ask you for this when we come to class. So right now I'm going to talk about the past progressive. We were talking about things that were going on right then. But now we're talking about things that that are describing past actions in progress. It is formed with the imperfect of estar in the present participle of the main verb. So this would be like if I was saying, instead of saying she is eating it, I would say she was eating it. So to get the was in there, we would use estar in the imperfect tense. We know that estar in the imperfect is the past tense. Just a quick review of estar in the imperfect. We would say estaba. This should be estaba. I'm sorry. Estaba, estabas, estaba, estábamos, estaban. Then we also use that with the present participle. And remember, the present participle is AR verbs ending with ando, and ER and IR verbs ending with yendo. So instead of saying she is eating it, we would say she was eating it. Ella estaba comiendo. So here's some examples of the past progressive. You could say, I was talking with my stepsister. Ella estaba hablando con mi hermanastra. Or you were making food for the family. Estabas haciendo la comida para la familia. It's very similar to the present progressive tense. The only thing that changes is estar is not in the present tense now, but it's in the imperfect. So, with that in mind, a lot of times we use the past progressive with the preterite to talk about actions that are going on that get stopped abruptly by a completed action. So here's an example. She was talking to her stepmom when her half-sister called. Ella estaba hablando a su hermanastra cuando su medio hermana llamó. So it's a continuous action that gets stopped abruptly by a preterite action. And we know that the imperfect lingers and the preterite stops. So I want you to answer these questions using the past progressive with the preterite. ¿Qué estabas haciendo cuando los aviones golpearan los dos torres? And the other one, ¿qué estabas haciendo cuando encontraste que no tenía escuela en el enero? So you're going to answer it like you could say, I was sleeping when this happened. Yo estaba durmiendo cuando los aviones golpearan los dos torres. Or what were you doing when you found out we didn't have school in January? I was sleeping when I found out this information. So you were doing an action that was lingering, that got stopped abruptly by a preterite action. Thanks for listening.